Hello to everyone, and welcome to the 13th edition of BelDoc International Film Festival. I'm talking with the director of a movie called Collective, Alexander Nanau. The film was premiered on the 76th Venice Film Festival. It was also screened on Toronto International Film Festival, Sundance Film Festival. LA Times called it a gripping, inspiring expose of international injustice. Variety called it a documentary for our times, deserving of widespread exposure. Congratulations on your movie. And can you just tell us, how did you start? How did you got the idea to shoot this movie? How did it all started?
I mean, it obviously started after the fire in the club Collective, after which big demonstrations erupted in Romania, where a young generation took to streets against the authorities and against the political class in Romania that is highly corrupt, that is actually the same people changing parties and, you know, just not governing the country, but using politics only to steal the public funds. And this corruption, as we could see in the fire of Collective, is not only about money, but leads to death. You know, people die when other people bribe the state authorities to get a club authorized that has no fire exits. And the same thing continued in the hospitals, where corrupt, incompetent authorities, together with corrupt, incompetent doctors, lied to the whole country that they can treat the burn victims from the fire, and killed many more young people that were in the club. So to come back to your question, when we realized how the authorities, while these demonstrations were going on, were telling every day that they know how to handle the situation, that they can treat them as good as in German hospitals, it became clear to us that there's a clash of the ones in power with the citizens, and that we are assisting the biggest manipulation that we have seen in a long time. And so we started to look for characters through whose eyes we could tell this particular point in the history of the Romanian society, and investigative journalists seemed to be the right entry door to understand how the state is functioning in relation to its citizens.
In the movie, we can see a lot of new informations. We can see a lot of uncoverings. You discovered a lot of people, officials lying to the public. You discover all these atrocities happening. Did you expect this to find out when you start shooting? Did you know how this is going to roll throughout the movie, or it was just something that was happening while you were shooting the movie?
We were expecting the authorities to lie. That's what they are doing since ever. You know that very well from your country. That's their main way of doing politics, creating a false reality, a parallel reality, in which they make the citizens believe what we did not expect, and what was actually very shocking and emotionally very hard to digest, was the level, the lack of humanity, because they knew that these young people will die. They knew that because they were lying, because they did not allow these young people to be flown out to burn hospitals in Western Europe, where they could have been saved. They just used it. They used the life of others in order to maintain a completely absurd image of a state that is functioning. And I think that they also took into consideration the death of these people, because while they were keeping them in Romania, they could steal a lot more money out of the Romanian health system instead of paying the money to the hospitals outside Romania where these young people could have been treated.
Throughout the whole movie, you were underlining this human part. This is like about human beings. It's about the corruption. It's about misdoing or mistreatment, but it's first and foremost about a human and humans. And the end of the movie is so it's just, it takes our breath away. What you are guiding us throughout the whole story, and the end, it makes you cry. You want, or either to scream. Do you think that your movie has changed something, and what are the reactions in your country on this movie?
It's a question that comes very often, you know, if the movie has changed something, or there's always the question if a film can change something. But I think it's a very wide question because it always has to do with our expectations. So what do we perceive as a change? I think that as a storyteller, my job in a way is not to change a society, but to, let's say, collect a story that is happening in society, collect and retell it. And I think that every viewer has a very private relationship to a film he is watching. And in so far, I think that every film, when it's well made, is changing something in us. You know, we enter the cinema in a way and come out, we feel that we learned something or that we understood something, that there's a change within us. And in so far, seeing the reactions of people, I think that the film has the means to I don't know if to change, but at least to make the viewer question even more the reality he's living in and his own role in it. And in Romania, in terms of change, I mean, what I can tell you is that I know from journalists that the number of whistleblowers exploded since the film came out. And I also know from different journalists that many whistleblowers that come now to them relate their messages to the film or to the fact that they do not want to be part of those who stay silent anymore.
It's also clear from the movie that all these people had a huge trust in you as a director. They let you full access to a newsroom. Minister help give you an access to his conversations. The guys, people who were coming to give information to journalists, also were willing to relieve their character, their scene in your movie. So in that respect, was there anybody who maybe refused or didn't want to be a part of the movie?
Not so much. I mean, there were whistleblowers, but not many, maybe two, that were afraid. And there was not really a chance to film in an observational manner what they were doing. And because the whole film is filmed in an observational manner, it was very hard for me to implement, let's say, whistleblowers that you would then interview or do something like that. So I think about two whistleblowers did not land in the film because they were not accepting it from the beginning to be filmed while they were blowing the whistle. But other than that, not really. I mean, there's one other thing where the journalists were afraid that the camera might scare their subject, and that was the CEO of the company that was diluting the disinfectants. And when they met him, they did not tell me at first, which was right. It was very early in the process, and we don't know if he would have talked to them if he knew that there would be a camera. But other than that, no, we were lucky that the people trusted us. And I must say that the most courageous people were for sure the whistleblowers, because They trusted me to film them, and they trusted me that we will not publish the film until we watch it together, and they decide at the moment where I finish the editing that they still want to go public and to be seen with their face, who they are, and that they were the whistleblowers. And insofar, I think that that's a courage that it's very hard to, to understand as a normal human being, to have so much courage and to trust somebody. So I think that I can be pretty thankful to them for that. And also the parents and the victims, because, when you go through something like that somebody killed your child, or you are mutilated for life and you are, your life changed drastically. I think it's very hard to let somebody film you. It's very hard to let somebody into this privacy and into this pain. And I also think that the fact that they trusted us was incredible. But in the case of the victims and the parents, I think what was good is that one of the fire victims that also filmed the concert, Mihai Grecia, when he woke up from the coma after he survived the fire and being a documentary filmmaker himself, he joined our team. So he became a team member. And I think that helped a lot to gain the trust of the parents and of the burn victims.
You have internationally received a lot of praise and awards for this movie. Are the reactions different in comparing to your home country in a sense of critics and journalists and general public?
No, I must say that was one of the I don't know if surprises, but it was something that I didn't expect at that level, that the reactions of the international audience, be it in rich countries, poor countries, developed or less developed societies, it was all the same, and the people were telling me the same thing. It is about our country, it is about our system. So what I realized is that everywhere on the planet right now, the citizens are living with a very deep fear that they have no control over their lives and no control over their societies, and that they don't trust the people that govern them. That they don't think that the people that govern them do this in the interest of the citizens. So there is a big mistrust between citizens and the ones in power, and also a big fear that the democracies we think we're living in are very fragile. So in this regard, I must say there was no difference from the home country, from Romania, to the rest of the societies we screened the film in. So no, it seems that we're living also the same time. And even now with the COVID, it feels like everybody understands now what it means and why we need societies that when something like a fire or a virus is putting our life in danger from one second to the other, we really need societies to work in our favor, and we need societies that protect our private lives.
Okay, thank you very much for this conversation. It was a pleasure. I wish you many awards and good critics for this movie, and also in the future, in your future work. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.